everyone, happy World Card Making Day and welcome to Elisabeth Hogarth Designs. Today's the day all about card makers, our wonderful hobby, sharing ideas, looking for new designs, and I am delighted to have received my next brand ambassador box from the team at G45. I know I'm really fortunate, and I know some of you enjoy seeing the contents of these boxes, so I'm going to make this video in two parts. I'm going to show you a snapshot of the products that I chose to create with this time, and then in part two I'll share with you an idea that came from G45 and I'm going to develop slightly to kickstart our Christmas card making. So back to the 12 by 12 papers that I chose to work with this time. I picked the Café Parisian because I've worked with a smaller set of the papers before and it is back in stock on the G45 website. So if you're in the USA, head to the G45.com website. You can find all of these products available. If you're in the UK like me, you might need to head to your local stockist, but it should be available. It's a beautiful set to create with. Even looking at the main page there, you can see the colours and the imagery is very chic and very versatile. So that's Café Parisienne. That was my first set. I then saw that we've got the collector's edition of the Home Sweet Home. It will be something that I'll make that my mum would have loved. A lot of the reasons why I love G45 is the connection to my mum, and many of you know that's where my love of crafting developed from. So I like this. This would have been 1940s, 1950s housewives. It's very reminiscent of that style, and I've got some stickers and I've got some chipboard in there, and I love the colours, and I think some of these colours will work with this absolutely glorious Little Things collection. As soon as I saw this on social media, I knew that I would like to work with it. So I will show you this one in a lot more detail, and I will devote a individual video to it, but you can see, look at these sweet little pixies and the toadstools. In some ways it reminds me of the books I used to read as a child, even an Enid Blyton book. And I've gone for the patterns and the solids not only to go with this set, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to add a touch of this in with the Home Sweet Home, which is why I love working with these collections, because I really love the way everything coordinates. I treated myself as well to the journaling cards, and you can see there the variety of images that you'll be able to craft with, and of course it coordinates. I've gone for the ephemera as well, because you can just add little touches of the tags and the toppers to make your project pop. Can't wait to try these flowers. It looks like we've got some curling ones like I used on the cottage garden bonnet, and I also decided to pick this little stamp set because I want to work with these toadstools, and You Are My Sunshine is something that I still sing to Olivia, so it's got great memories, that set. So that's going to be an individual project and video by itself, and then I could not wait to see these papers in person. So this is Let's Get Cozy. These blues and reds are absolutely divine, and look at the floral work in here. So this is the main image, and again I will devote an entire video to this collection, so we'll get some Christmas card making done and possibly some bigger projects. But I just love the colours I love that petrol blue and the way that that red, it's like a, this is a proper old-fashioned Christmas red. And I went for the journaling cards because you can use those in albums, but they make great toppers. I've gone for the ephemera assortment. I love these houses. I think they're brilliant. Really, really stylish. And I've gone for another set of flowers because I spotted that they've got some more of these wraparound folds. So when we do this video again, I'll show you all the details on how to construct these. So those are the 12 by 12 papers that I chose. Looking forward to crafting with this particular album because we've got the tags and we've got the pockets in there as well. I'm also building up my set of dies, and this particular set is the folder and sentiment dies. This will be really useful. I think I'm going to try and make some sort of advent envelope with this die. And I really like the look of the sentiments because I like this form of script, because I enjoyed working with these stamps that are very similar in style. Then last but not least, I treated myself to one of the collection packs. I haven't tried one of these before, and this particular set appealed to me. It is the Card Makers set. I love that it comes in this very stylish bag, which I will be keeping for future use. So I've got a set of pomegranate cardstock 5x7 card, and I think that colourway will be perfect for matching up to Let's Get Cozy as well. I've got another set of the French blue trims, really excellent quality with those ribbons. And then we've got this Card Club Volume 11 set of instructions for the Let It Snow papers, which I'll show you in a moment. So everything in this pack enables you to make this set of 3 Z-fold window cards. I really like the look of those. And it says down here you can complete 3 additional cards following the same step using other papers from the collections. There are details on the G45 YouTube channel, which is a brilliant resource, and you will find so many different cards and ideas to use these collections. So we've got a set of the chipboard ephemera. Look at that Santa Claus. Then we've got the paper pad itself featuring the glorious papers. That could just go in a frame on by itself. So we've got 3 of each design. We've got the traditional poinsettias, the harlequins. Even these background papers will be wonderful to work with. We've got some super cute toppers that will be great for tags. Traditional robins with the merry and bright. Beautiful colours, aren't they? This petrol blue is quite similar to Let's Get Cozy. So again, we can coordinate some of this imagery with the other set that we're working with. What I'll do next is I will try one of the Z-fold window cards, just as we've got from the instructions here. And then I will try an alternative with part of the Let's Get Cozy collection. And we can compare and see how we can mix and match everything. But I'm so delighted to receive this box of goodies, and I'm hoping that I will be able to inspire you with your holiday season and Christmas card making. Before I dive into the newly received goodies, just a quick word about the previous set, the Warm Wishes. I know that some of you have been looking for inspiration for this, and I wanted to let you know that I've made a set of cards with full instructions, and fingers crossed You will be able to view that on the G45 blog sometime during October. Keep an eye on my social media and I'll let you know when the video is uploaded to the G45 YouTube channel, so it's worth subscribing to them as well. But here's a really sneak peek of what we can be making together. So do keep an eye out and you will see loads more ideas from everyone at G45 on how to use the Warm Wishes collection. This is the first time I've had a card club collection. This one is from this time last year. It's volume 11 and it's featuring Let It Snow. So I'm going to try card 2. And first of all, I'm going to use the papers as they've got here, and then I'm going to try it with Let's Get Cozy because the colour palette is quite similar. So in the instructions it asks us to take this cardstock and score at the 2.5 inch mark, and then we're going to create a very simple Z fold. These cards are great for batch making for Christmas. Then we're asked to cut from this paper pad. They've used the polar bear, so I'm going to try that one first, but I think any of the papers will work just as well. So we've got one mat that measures in the back 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, so you've got a nice border. Then you have a mat at the front which again measures 6 3/4 by 2 1/4, and I'm adding an extra layer here which measures the same. I've just gone for a coordinating bit of cardstock. But before you adhere these panels, this front panel, they suggest on this card design here that you add this ribbon. They've included this beautiful French blue trim, and I'm going to use the narrower band. But when I am attaching ribbon like this, I take the extra precaution of adding some red tape so that it lies flat. Add to my border a little bit of tape, and then I add an extra bit of ribbon. There's plenty in the pack, so you can afford to add a little excess. And then I peel away the red tape, keeping it in line. It's easier on a glass mat. And then I'm going to add this piece over the top, and secure it to the back. These are just little tips that you pick up over time. When I was a beginner, I just used to add the ribbon and I could never quite work out why it wasn't sitting properly. So add that little bit of red tape and you'll see that the ribbon sits in place. So as per this design, the second piece is going to come about 1/8 of the way down. Again, because we've got the ribbon there, I'm going to bring in the red tape rather than just using glue. I'm going to bring in a section of that red tape to cover the ribbon, and then I will go over the top with the glue. Bring in the card base and we're going to line up the cards. Got a nice border around the outside, and then use your bone folder to lay it flat, and then you're ready to add the extra pieces. I'm going to use the chipboard pieces, and I'm also going to add some Graphic 45 marine blue ink. I'm also going to add some ribbon, and I tend to work out how much I need before cutting away the excess. And then you're just going to cut away from the fold upwards to create that neat little V. And then we'll add some 3D gel just to hold it in place. So there's the card from the instructions, and there's my version. I personally would add a journal or some more pattern paper to the back and write my sentiment here, but I think you could also add something in here. So that's a really smart and simple card. You could always add extra sentiments here, but for a starting point and an idea from the card club, I really like that card design, so thank you Graphic 45. I also like decorating the envelopes to match, so I've got some scrap from the 8x8 papers, and I'm just going to add a band, and then when you add your address label, it just makes it that little bit more festive. So there you have one card and matching envelope. So now that we've perfected the measurements, let's take a look at Let's Get Cozy. And again, you've got the same sort of colour tones, so everything will mix and match. And I love that as a crafter. I think that is really clever crafting when you can carry on building and curating your papers and then thinking, oh, I'll just try that. Or you could try the new flowers with this range. That would also work. But there's plenty of inspiration on these sheets. And as I mentioned before, you can go to the Graphic 45 YouTube channel and you'll see the other designs as well. I think they go up in scale depending upon your skill set. But if you're not sure, something like this is really nice to have, and it's also very nice to send as a gift. So let's take a look at Let's Get Cozy. Let's Get Cozy is one of the Graphic 45 collections for 2022. I'm a huge fan of it already. I knew as soon as I saw it on social media that it would appeal to me. I adore the 3D houses and the fact that the stags have got these floral elements to it. But you've also got the troika style horse and the leaping hare, let alone these stunning colours. These are the patterns on the background as well, and if you look really carefully you can see the stags. So I'll quickly run you through how these papers look, and you can see that the colour palette is like a Nordic or a Christmas jumper. And as I mentioned, even though you've got these very pretty florals, you've also got these symmetrical designs. That's a really good design, and I think they work well for mail cards, or if you just don't want to make really pretty cards. Graphic 45 make many very feminine pretty cards, but this I think is slightly more masculine, and I think it's really stylish. You've got Let It Snow, Baby It's Cold Outside. You could cut into these. Really like the font, and I adore patterns like this. Really appealing. You've got your larger 12x12. Of course, if you're not comfortable with cutting into this, you can always plump for the 8x8, but I tend to find I get more for my money from the 12x12. Here are the coordinating patterns and solids, and again you've got the matching colours, fabulous bolds, really classy designs. This is like a very pale slate charcoal, and that will work brilliantly with the red tones. But I'm a huge fan of this petrol style blue. The details on here, just really workable designs, and again you've got your Nordic style patterns and a great sheet of snowflakes. So that's the Let's Get Cozy collection. I think, as I mentioned earlier, I will dedicate a whole video to making some more cards with this, but we've got a great set of journaling cards. So again, they're taken from the main paper. Look at that, isn't that glorious? So those in themselves will make wonderful cards. There's no place like home. There used to be a book, I think it's a Philip Pullman book, with a large polar bear. These are like the Troika horses that are very Scandinavian, very, very classic Christmas designs. Bundle up, so you could use some of these for winter birthdays or stay cozy. Really great designs, and then you can always use them as journaling cards as well for your albums. I also picked the ephemera assortment because I love these for the sentiments and then the die cut elements, and I will show you more of these another time, but you can see that it all coordinates beautifully. Keep every little scrap because you will make use of it. And finally, we've got these amazing flowers that always make brilliant floral elements, coloured on both sides, but we've also got the inner part of the flower, and it's just a matter of taking a curling tool or a pokey tool and wrapping this back around itself, and you'll see that it comes together a little bit like a snail shell. So the colour palette is very similar to Let It Snow, and I think everything's going to work really well together. So you've got the same fold, so it's scored down the front panel, and I'm going to add some of these papers. I tried to line up the front panel so that the Hello Winter was featured, and then I'm going to add a ribbon to this side, and then I'm going to coordinate it, flip the paper over, and I'm going to add that Troika style paper to the inside panel. This time I'm going to use some of the brick red ink just to lift up these edges here. It's just a nice little finishing touch. And again, I'm going to use some of the trim. This is the Triumphant Red, and I think that that will coordinate beautifully with these papers. So because I like the line-up here of the houses and the Hello Winter, I'm actually going to put the trim in the bottom corner this time. I'm going to add one of the smaller journal cards to the inside here, and again I'm going to quickly etch it with the brick red ink. These are really nice inks for blending and to pulling in the borders just by adding that extra edge. You could of course use the back, and then you can add your own sentiment, but the weather has turned here now, and it really is time to get cozy and to bundle up. So we'll pop that into there. I'm not adding too many layers because, as I say, most of these cards will be sent in the post, and you have to be aware these days of the price of the postal cost. So again, I've got another tag, this time from the ephemera. I'm going to add a little bit more ink. I've already added the ribbon, and this time I'm going to line up this point to make it look like the bow is attached to the ribbon, and it will just sit in that corner. I'll definitely be making some more cards for Christmas using these delightful and very stylish papers. So keep an eye on my social media. I'll let you know when some more videos like these come live, and I will do a complete set of cards using the Let's Get Cozy and coordinating some of these as well. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Keep an eye on the Graphic 45 blog. Don't forget to tag me in your posts at Elisabeth Hogarth Designs, because I would love to see what you're making with all of these collections. Take care, stay warm, happy World Card Making Day, and I look forward to welcoming you back here again soon. Bye bye for now.